Hey Taurus, I need to talk to you about something that just came through in your reading, and honestly, this energy is pretty intense. I just pulled cards for you, and what came through is this whole situation where someone has been trying to set something up behind your back. Like, they have been planning something, thinking they had all their pieces in place, and they were so confident that their little scheme was going to work. But here is what they did not account for. They did not account for divine timing. They did not account for your resilience. And they definitely did not account for the fact that the universe has been watching this whole thing unfold. So let me just dive right into what the cards are showing, because this is one of those readings where the energy is so clear and so specific that I know some of you are going to feel this in your bones. You are going to know exactly who this is about and exactly what situation this is referring to. And for those of you who maybe are not aware that something has been happening behind the scenes, this reading is going to bring some clarity and probably some validation for feelings you have been having but could not quite put your finger on. Before I get into the cards, I just want to say that this is a reading about protection, about divine intervention, and about the fact that no matter what anyone tries to do to block you or trip you up or sabotage your path, there is a higher force at work here that is making sure you come out on top. This is not about revenge or karma in a petty way. This is about truth, about justice, and about the fact that some things are just meant to be, and no amount of scheming or plotting can change that. Alright, so the first card I pulled for you is the Hermit, and when I saw this card, I immediately understood what has been happening. The Hermit is about going inward, about seeking truth, about that quiet knowing that comes when you step back from all the noise and all the chaos and just listen to your inner guidance. And what this card is telling me is that you have been in this energy recently. You have been in a space where you have been more introspective, maybe more withdrawn than usual. Maybe you have been taking time to yourself, not engaging as much with certain people or certain situations, and there is a reason for that. Your intuition has been guiding you to pull back, to observe, to not show all your cards, and this has actually been your protection. See, while you have been in this Hermit energy, while you have been taking that step back and gaining that higher perspective, there have been people around you who have mistaken your silence for weakness. They have mistaken your withdrawal for vulnerability. They thought that because you were not as present or as engaged, they could make their moves without you noticing. They thought they could set things up, have their little conversations, make their little plans, and by the time you figured out what was happening, it would be too late for you to do anything about it. But here is what they did not understand. Your withdrawal was not weakness. Your silence was not ignorance. You were in that hermit space because you were being guided there. You were being given the perspective you needed to see things clearly. You were being shown the truth of situations and people that you might not have seen if you had been right in the thick of things. So while they thought they were being sneaky, while they thought they were getting away with something, you were actually being prepared. You were being given the wisdom and the clarity you needed to navigate what was coming. The hermit also represents that inner light, that lantern that guides you through the darkness. And Taurus, you have been carrying that light even when things around you felt uncertain or unclear. You have been trusting your gut even when you could not see the full picture yet. And that trust in your own inner knowing is what has kept you protected this whole time. The people who have been trying to plot against you, they do not have that. They are operating from ego, from fear, from desperation maybe, and those energies do not have the same power as someone who is connected to their higher self and their inner truth. Now, the second card that came through is King of Pentacles, and this is where things get really interesting. The King of Pentacles represents stability, security, abundance, mastery over the material world. This is someone who has built something solid, someone who knows their worth, someone who cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. And what this card is telling me is that whatever these people were trying to do, whatever they were trying to take from you or block you from receiving, it involves something tangible. This could be about money, about a position, about an opportunity, about resources, about something in the physical world that has real value. And here is the thing about the King of Pentacles energy. This king does not react impulsively. This king does not make rash decisions. This king sits back, observes, assesses, and then makes calculated moves that protect what they have built. And that is exactly the energy you have been in, whether you realized it or not. While other people have been scrambling and scheming and trying to figure out how to get what you have or block what is coming to you, you have been steady. You have been grounded. You have been continuing to build and grow and develop your resources and your skills, not out of desperation but out of a genuine commitment to your own growth and stability. The people who have been trying to ambush you, they have been operating from a place of lack. They see what you have or what you are building or what is coming toward you, and they want it for themselves. Or maybe they do not want it for themselves, but they do not want you to have it. And that scarcity mindset, that jealousy, that insecurity, it makes people do desperate things. It makes them think that the only way for them to win is for you to lose. But the King of Pentacles knows that abundance is not a finite resource. The King of Pentacles knows that there is enough to go around, and that trying to steal from others or sabotage others only blocks your own blessings. What I love about this card showing up in your reading is that it is confirming you are in your power. You are in your king energy. You are not a victim here, even though someone may have tried to make you one. You are someone who has worked hard for what you have, who has earned your place, who has built something real and substantial, and no amount of behind-the-scenes maneuvering can take that away from you. Your value is inherent. Your worth is not up for debate. And the universe knows that, even if certain people around you have tried to convince you otherwise. The third card is Two of Swords. And okay, this is where we see the actual situation, the actual moment of the attempted ambush. The Two of Swords is about being at a crossroads, about having to make a decision, but it is also about being in a state of tension or stalemate. In this card, there is usually a figure blindfolded, holding two swords crossed over their chest, and there is this sense of being stuck between two options, two paths, two choices, and not being able to see clearly which way to go. What this card is showing me is that there was a moment where these people who have been plotting thought they had you cornered. They thought they had created a situation where you would be forced to make a choice that would benefit them and disadvantage you. Maybe they thought they had backed you into a corner where no matter what you chose, you would lose something. Maybe they were presenting you with two bad options and acting like those were your only choices. Maybe they were trying to keep you confused or in the dark about what was really happening so that you would make a decision without having all the information. But here is what the Two of Swords also represents. It represents that moment before the decision is made, that pause, that stillness where everything hangs in the balance. And in that moment, there is actually a lot of power. Because even though it might feel like being stuck, even though it might feel like being frozen, that pause is also an opportunity. It is an opportunity to gather more information, to tune into your intuition, to wait for clarity before you make a move. And Taurus, you are an earth sign. You know how to be patient. You know how to wait for the right moment. You do not rush into things just because someone else is trying to pressure you or manipulate you into making a hasty decision. So when these people tried to create this stalemate situation, when they tried to force your hand, you did not fall for it. You stayed in that Two of Swords energy. You kept your protection up. You did not reveal what you knew or what you were thinking. And you waited. You waited for more information to come to light. You waited for the truth to reveal itself. You waited for divine timing to do its thing. And that patience, that refusal to be rushed or manipulated, that is what started to unravel their whole plan. Now we get to the fourth card, and this is Queen of Swords. And honestly, when I pulled this card, I actually smiled, because this is the energy of truth, of clarity, of seeing through illusions and calling out manipulation. The Queen of Swords does not mess around. She is sharp, she is intelligent, she is perceptive, and she has zero tolerance for lies or games. She sees the truth even when people are trying to hide it, and she is not afraid to speak that truth even when it makes others uncomfortable. What this card is telling me is that the moment their plan started to fall apart was the moment the truth started to come out. And this truth could have come through you, through your own clarity and perception, finally cutting through the confusion. Or this truth could have come through someone else. Maybe another person who saw what was happening and decided to speak up. The Queen of Swords energy is about information, about communication, about the power of words and truth to cut through deception. And whatever was happening behind the scenes, whatever was being whispered about or planned in secret, it could not stay hidden. Here is something really important about the Queen of Swords in this position. She represents mental clarity and emotional detachment in the best way possible. When you find out that people have been scheming against you, the natural reaction might be hurt, might be anger, might be wanting to lash out or get revenge, but the Queen of Swords does not operate from that place. She takes in the information, she assesses the situation objectively, and she makes strategic decisions about how to respond. She does not get swept up in the drama. She does not let emotions cloud her judgment. She simply sees what is, acknowledges it, and then decides on the most intelligent course of action. And Taurus, this is the energy you either are already embodying or you are being called to step into right now. As the truth of what has been happening comes to light, you might feel a lot of things. You might feel betrayed. You might feel angry. You might feel vindicated. All of those feelings are valid. But what the Queen of Swords is asking you to do is not let those feelings drive your actions. Instead, let clarity drive your actions. Let truth drive your actions. See the situation for what it is. See the people involved for who they really are. And then make decisions based on what is best for your highest good, not based on what would feel good in the moment or what would prove a point. The fifth card is Seven of Wands. And this card is so perfect for this reading because it literally shows someone standing their ground against opposition. In the traditional image of this card, there is a figure on higher ground holding a wand, defending their position against 6 other wands coming at them from below. And this card is about defense, about standing up for yourself, about not backing down even when you are outnumbered or facing challenges. What the Seven of Wands is showing me is that even though these people tried to ambush you, even though they thought they had the upper hand, you have the high ground, you have the advantage, and part of that advantage comes from the fact that you are fighting for something real. You are defending something you have actually earned, something you have actually built. You are coming from a place of integrity. The people coming at you, they are coming from a place of ego, of insecurity, of wanting what they have not earned. And that difference, that is everything. The Seven of Wands also tells me that you have more strength than you might even realize. When you are backed into a corner, when you are forced to defend yourself or your position or your truth, you discover reserves of courage and resilience you did not know you had. And this situation, as challenging as it might be or might have been, is actually showing you your own power. It is showing you that you can hold your ground. It is showing you that you cannot be easily knocked off course. It is showing you that you have what it takes to protect what is yours and to stand firm in your truth even when others are trying to make you doubt yourself or back down. Here is something else about the Seven of Wands. It is card number 7, and 7 is a deeply spiritual number. It represents divine protection, divine intervention, the idea that there are forces at work beyond what we can see in the physical world. And what this is telling me is that your ability to defend yourself in this situation is not just coming from your own strength. You have help. You have divine backing. You have spiritual protection. The universe, your guides, whatever you want to call that higher power, they have been with you through this whole thing, making sure that the attacks against you did not land the way your opponents intended. And now we come to the 6th and final card, and this is Wheel of Fortune. And oh Taurus, this is where everything comes together. The Wheel of Fortune is one of the most powerful cards in the tarot because it represents fate, destiny, divine timing, the idea that there is a greater plan at work and that sometimes things happen not because we made them happen or because someone else made them happen, but because they were meant to happen. The wheel turns, circumstances change, and what goes up must come down and what goes down must come up. What the Wheel of Fortune is showing me in this reading is that the moment these people tried to execute their plan against you, the wheel turned, the universe stepped in, divine timing activated, and suddenly everything they thought they had set up started to collapse. Because here's the thing about trying to work against someone who is in alignment with their destiny and their higher path. You cannot win. You can scheme all you want. You can plot all you want. You can try to manipulate circumstances all you want. But if that person is meant to rise, if that person is meant to succeed, if that person is protected by divine forces, your plans are going to fall apart. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me that what is happening now is not random. This is not just luck or coincidence. This is fate intervening on your behalf. This is the universe saying, no, not this one. This person is protected. This person is meant for greater things, and your interference is not going to be tolerated. And so the wheel turned. And suddenly the people who thought they had the upper hand found themselves exposed. Suddenly their plans started to unravel. Suddenly things that they thought were secrets came to light. Suddenly the very trap they set for you became the trap they fell into themselves. I want to be really clear about something. The Wheel of Fortune is not about revenge. It is not about you needing to do anything to make these people pay for what they tried to do. The wheel turns on its own. Karma is not something you need to deliver. It is something that happens naturally when people operate from places of deception and ill intent. What goes around comes around, and if people have been sending negative energy your way, if they have been trying to block your blessings or sabotage your path, that energy has to go somewhere, and when the wheel turns, it goes right back to them. What the Wheel of Fortune is asking you to focus on is not what is happening to them, but what is opening up for you. Because while they are dealing with the consequences of their own actions, while they are watching their plans fall apart, you are being lifted up. You are moving forward. Opportunities that were being blocked are suddenly opening. People who were working against you are suddenly being removed from your path. Clarity that was being obscured is suddenly crystal clear. The wheel is turning in your favor, Taurus, and all you need to do is trust that and keep moving forward. So let me bring all of this together for you. What this reading is showing is that yes, there has been an attempt to ambush you. There have been people working behind the scenes, thinking they were being clever, thinking they had you figured out, thinking they could manipulate circumstances to their advantage and your disadvantage. But what they did not account for was your inner wisdom, your stability and groundedness, your patience and refusal to be rushed into bad decisions, your clarity and ability to see through deception, your strength and willingness to stand your ground, and most importantly, divine timing and spiritual protection working on your behalf. Their plan did not just fail, it collapsed. It backfired. The very thing they tried to do to you is happening to them instead. And you are coming out of this stronger, wiser, more protected, and more aligned with your true path than ever before. This experience has shown you who people really are. It has shown you your own strength. It has confirmed that you are not walking this path alone, that there are forces greater than you working to make sure you end up exactly where you are meant to be. If you are watching this and you felt that resonance, if you knew exactly what situation or what person this was about, trust that knowing. Trust that what you have been sensing is real. Trust that your intuition has been guiding you correctly. And if things have felt confusing or unclear up until now, trust that clarity is coming or may have already started to arrive. The truth always comes out. Always. And when it does, it sets you free. For those of you who maybe were not aware that something was happening behind your back, pay attention in the coming days and weeks. Information may come to light. Things people have said or done may suddenly make sense in a new way. You may discover that suspicions you brushed off were actually accurate. And when that happens, do not be angry with yourself for not seeing it sooner. You were being protected from seeing it until you were ready to handle it, until the timing was right, until you had the strength and clarity to deal with it effectively. Moving forward, the message from these cards is clear. Stay in your power. Stay in your truth. Do not let this experience make you bitter or closed off or mistrustful of everyone. The right people, the people who are meant to be in your life, they will show you through their actions that they are trustworthy. And the people who are not meant to be in your life, they will show you that too. And you can thank them for the clarity and release them without drama. You do not need to argue. You do not need to expose them. You do not need to get revenge. The universe has already handled it. Your job is just to keep rising, keep building, keep moving toward your destiny. Trust the Wheel of Fortune. Trust divine timing. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be and that everything that has happened, including this attempted ambush, is actually part of your path, part of your growth, part of your story. And the beautiful thing is, you are not the victim in this story. You are the one who stood strong, who trusted themselves, who had divine protection, and who came out on top not because you played dirty games but because you stayed true to yourself and your path. So yeah, they tried to ambush you, Taurus. But their plan collapsed the moment Spirit intervened. And now you get to move forward lighter, freer, wiser, and more powerful than before. I hope this reading brought you clarity and confirmation. Trust yourself, trust your path, and know that you are so deeply protected and supported by forces you cannot even see. You have got this.